So Charlie, you worked with a bunch of bands over the years. I know, just tell the folks at home what were some of the bands you've been working with?
Ooh, all sorts of people. People like Annie Lennox, Massive Attack, Robbie Williams, Snow Patrol, all those kind of major big in-ear artists.
So you've been in arenas for the last how long?
Oh,
Arenas and stadiums for
a good 15, 20 years. Yeah.
Okay, man, let's look at the desk. Okay, so how do you lay your faders out?
Okay, so I like to keep everything pretty simple, and I kind of work in the same way for most bands, depending on what input and output they've got. So level 1 is on here is all drums. So we've got acoustic drums, digital drums, and then we've got bass and guitars, and we've actually on here we've got some guest guitars as well.
Okay.
Layer 2 will be Pro Tools playback, keyboards. Layer 3 is all vocals. And then layer 4, you're into crew chat and effects returns. So that way you always know.
Yeah, utility stuff.
Yeah, everything's in an orderly fashion.
So what about the output faders here?
Outputs again, we try and keep pretty simple. So aux 1 to 8, which is my default layout, is all core band.
Sure.
And then anything that spills over 9 upwards is either crew mixes, or we've got some guest vocals here. And then we've got the drum sub and some...
So silent stage, so the crew are all on IEMs as well, right?
Absolutely everybody's on IEMs. We have a whole crew chat line, so the crew get their own talk mix, so everyone can request things from either side of the stage, all that kind of clever stuff. What I'm trying to do, plugin-wise, it's all about, for me, is maintaining dynamic range before compression into the transmitters.
Okay.
So you want your mix to be as close to 0 dB on the ears transmitters to get gain before noise, but also for bands listening to the music, they want dynamic range. You can't just slam everything with a compressor and everything's flat. They want to feel like they're
playing. Can't sound like an MP3, right?
No, it's got to feel like a band playing in a room. So that's what we're all about, compression-wise.
Cool. Let's dive in on a channel. I don't know.
Sure. Let's look at Simon's vocal channel. It's the lead vocal. We've got a mixture of plugins doing different things. So we've got Oxford Dynamics on here. Basically, it's just a tiny little bit of compression, and then we're adding a little bit of a sidechain EQ and some warmth. So we're trying to get, you know, an analog feel, vocal compression in there. Okay, and then again, the next one down is trying to do the same thing. Really, we are it's Mac DSP's analog tape modeling compressor. So again, it's about adding a little bit of warmth, a little bit of natural distortion to the voice. It's not really doing compression as such. It's all about the algorithm.
Just a little bit of tape compression.
It's all a little bit of tape compression, and then after that, and then we're into dynamic EQ.
Wow. Okay.
So again, you know, some vocals, some vocal styles, when they hit a certain note or a certain range.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Are you pulling up some high mid, or how is it?
Yeah, it's just tickling. It's just tickling the high mid. So we got some of the high mid you can see boosted on the EQ.
Oh yeah.
But when he hits his high mid range, sometimes that becomes too much, and it's too much of a bite. It's too much attack. So you've got if you like a gentle EQ sound for when he's singing softer passages. That's the EQ that he likes on his voice.
Yeah.
If he suddenly starts into a hard, you know, a hard pop tune or whatever, different vocal range, then to maintain the overall EQ sound, we just use the dynamic EQs then just to take.
And you just set the threshold so
you just set the threshold and the range, and you're good to go.
Right. So Charlie, show me what processing you have on the output end. And you're not using internal EQs, right? You're using.
No, we run EQs flat. So we all run JH Audio Roxanne in ears, which are just incredible.
Right. How many way are they?
They are 12.
What?
12 way in each ear, and they will produce real feel sub.
I'd quite like to have a look at your snapshots, if that's okay. I mean, you use a lot of snapshots, I'm guessing, right?
Sure, yeah. Every song's snapshotted. This is a new show file, so we rewrote the show file when we moved to S6L. So we've got, what have we got in here?
You got all your BPMs for each song?
Yeah, I have the BPMs just sat there for the delays. So we're at 46 already. That's this year. Some of those songs we won't play. You know, the main 22 songs are all the ones that are in the top.
Yeah. Wild Boys.
Wild Boys are all there. All the hits are there.
You Could Hell. A lot of big hits.
And the only time that I would normally run multiple snapshots is if we have, you know, medleys or or segues. So some of the songs we'll put together a medley of a segue. So some snapshots might be for one song, but it will be a medley of songs, not usually ins and outs or middle or eights.
And so what are you scoping in your snapshots?
Sends, mutes, EQs. The dynamics don't really change. The plugins change. Plugin recall is usually just reverb times, pre-delays, and delay times. Yeah.
Cool. Tell me what's changed in your workflow with the virtual soundcheck between the venue profile and the S6L.
So the really cool thing in S6L land is that when you're in virtual soundcheck mode, you can decide which channels you want live, or coming back from playback.
Simultaneously, right?
Simultaneously, yeah. So you can punch in any one or any choice of inputs that you want to be live or back from the computer. So as far as the monitor guy goes, that means if you've got a member of the band that either can't turn up to rehearsals for one day, we can play the previous rehearsal back to them, and it's as if we had a full band member, a full complement of artists. Or for example, when we were in production rehearsals for the last UK tour, the guitarist wanted a lot of very fine tweaks, which he couldn't communicate to me while the rest of the band were there.
Too much background noise.
Yeah,
too much
background
stuff
noise.
Going on.
Everybody's got all their hands and feet busy. So rather than holding another 8 musicians back for another 2 hours while we ran another run through, we gave us the ability to send everybody else home, and then me and him just sat next to the monitor board. We played the rest of the band all from the recording that afternoon, and just made his guitar channel live.
Wow.
And you can be as as finicky on your mixes as you like, and
store it all to your snapshots.
Store it all to your snapshots, and he's hardly touched his mix since.
So this has really changed your workflow then. It's
really changed the workflow, and it really allows you to get into the nitty-gritty of people's mixes.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about was, okay, you were a long time early adopter of D show, venue, profile. What's been the biggest change between the profile and this desk? Is it sound quality? Is that you
I think it's
that?
the sound quality. I think it's the preamp straight out. Like I said, I was one of the first person to take the desk out.
First person in the world.
Which is quite a commitment when you say to the band, I want to have this new desk, I want to take it around the world.
Yeah.
No one's heard it, no one's seen it.
Yeah.
I think there was 2 desks at the time.
Yeah.
And they went, well, if you really think so, and I said, well, I think we're going to make another leap forward. This is going to be a big deal for us. Now's the time to do it. We committed to it, and the first day in the studio, without being prompted, the band went, "Wow, sounds so much clearer."
So the band picked it up themselves. You didn't have to.
No nudging, no cajoling. They could hear the difference straight away. The depth and the width is what people have really noticed.
Cool. Okay, man. Thank you so much. That's awesome insight into one of the world's top monitor engineers and how he puts his work day together on the S6L.
More than welcome.
Thanks a lot, Chopper.